so proud to be Haitian because just everything about being Haitian is just awesome.
Everyone know about the history of Haiti, first Black independent country in 1804.
Understanding the history of Haiti or Haitian people, you can't help but be proud of the accomplishment that have happened.
Haitian Americans have done really well in the past few years. There's still a lot more work to be done. Only about 20% of us actually have a bachelor's degree.
I understand firsthand some of the challenges that Haitian American students, graduates, and professionals have faced.
Some of them have overcome incredible adversity.
Who've immigrated, who are asylum seekers or refugees.
There are not that many Haitian-focused scholarships, but like any other award, the NAAHP Leadership Award is providing recognition for one's hard work.
As we know, college is expensive, so this scholarship fund provides the chance for a brighter future.
It felt like the universe was speaking, like I needed the money, I was intrigued, people were telling me to apply.
Going to college or graduate school can be very, very expensive. So donating to a scholarship like this would help that expense be more manageable.
Future generation of leaders, scholars, entrepreneurs,
young adults that are trying to make something of their lives.
They are rock stars. They just need the help, and they need us to help them accomplish it.
There's like this Haitian proverb that says, "Me en pile chat palu," many hands make the load lighter.
Log in and you can donate $10, $25, $50.
It makes me think of the Malcolm X quote that education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. It makes me happy to know that our organization is contributing to that goal, preparing others for the future.
Greetings and welcome to College Planning with the National Alliance for the Advancement of Haitian Professionals. My name is Dr. Ketsia Sadler, and I'm the founder of College Cafe. And it's a pleasure to be here with you in the 6th installment of this college planning series. I'm very thankful to the NAAHP for allowing me this opportunity to share with you all. Today, we're going to be talking about scholarships, and I want to thank, in addition to NAAHP, our other partners. We have Book It Right Accountancy, Shokarela, and a new partner in Golden V, whom you will speak to their founder in a little while. So again, thank you so much for joining us this evening as we talk about scholarships. I know it's that time of year. Seniors are applying to their colleges of their choice, and underclassmen in high school are also thinking about what scholarships to apply to. And of course, if you're in college, definitely there is opportunity to apply for that outside funding to help you pay for your education. So this evening, I'm real excited that I will have two ladies with me who are going to talk about their experiences with the whole college planning process. Our first guest will be Miss Nanakua Aboagye-Addo. And Nana is commonly called Nana for short, and she is an undergraduate honors nursing student at Fairleigh Dickinson University. In 2023, she will have her Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and she's also the president of the National Society of Collegiate Scholars at Fairleigh Dickinson University with their chapter. So welcome, Nana. It's good to have you here with us. So let's get started. Just tell us a little bit about how, as a high school student, how you looked for a scholarship. How did you even decide to go into nursing? So let's start with that.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Sadler, for the great introduction. So specifically with my journey, I definitely have a lot of thank yous to, I had great encouragement from a guidance counselor in high school, and of course from my mother, just trying to figure out what path I wanted to go down and exactly how that would be funded. So specifically with nursing, I've always been drawn to the field, or at least in the health sciences in some aspect, but I didn't really know if nursing was the right choice for me, or if I should do maybe physical therapy or go to med school. But as I really started to learn more about what nursing really is as a career, and I could really see myself doing that long term, the qualities that a nurse needs to possess, I see how I was already developing that at a young age, being compassionate, being a great listener, and doing all I can for the patient. So I thought, let me stick with nursing. I know the school is going to be difficult, but I can do it. So specifically when it came to applying for scholarships and just finding them, I started pretty early, as in junior year, to at least get an idea of what's out there because there's so much information, there's a lot of websites, and I don't know if I was eligible for everything. I'm still taking SATs. So a lot of that, in order to answer those questions, I had to do a lot of research on my own, looking up what was provided by the state, scholarships for minority students, scholarships for students wanting to pursue healthcare careers. And that really helped narrow down my search in order for me to find a lot more opportunities on the internet.
Okay. So if you had to give it a time frame, how much time did you spend looking for scholarships?
I would say I spent towards the end of junior year, so I'll always say around May time when the year is winding down and everybody's really trying to narrow down what their college choices will be. But then I really think that summer before senior year is so pivotal because that's when you're really getting your applications organized. And as you're applying for school or getting your essay ready, you can also be using those same materials to apply for scholarships. You're going to need a resume, any honors or awards you've received during high school, and of course, your SAT scores and GPA. So those, I would say 3 or so months before the September senior year started is when all that research has to be done. And what I did specifically to keep myself organized, I'm off for the summer. Let me take advantage of this time. I made spreadsheets so I knew like the exact scholarship names, when the application cycle opened, when the deadlines were, and any specific materials I needed, like a letter of recommendation from a counselor or one of my teachers, or any requirements that I was still working on. And of course, in order to increase your chances of getting that scholarship, you need to make sure you are a well-rounded student. Having the good grades, yes, is important, but you also need to bring more to the table, as in community service opportunities, anything that you're doing in high school that that's going to make you stand out, forming clubs, tutoring other younger students. All that is very important because that paints a picture of what type of student you are and what you can either bring to a college or bring to the scholarship foundation.
Okay. So then you're high school senior, you get accepted to your school. So let's talk about what made you decide to go to Fairleigh Dickinson as opposed to maybe another school. Was it their financial aid package? Was it the program? So let's talk a little bit about that.
So choosing schools was definitely hard because I feel like I've done all the work and now I have to make this really big decision and it's going to impact, my future career, or maybe, what other opportunities I'll get. So I really appreciate Fairleigh Dickinson University. They came into my high school for a college fair and a in-person decision day. So that was a really good opportunity where I was able to talk face to face with a rep from the school. And I found that was a really great experience because that person is really going to tell you what the school is about and how they can see you fitting into their school's mission. And then I appreciate that because she made on a personal level for me to make me think of FDU differently than those other schools I've already applied to and have gotten accepted. And then, of course, they really offered a generous financial aid package, which was great, as the grants I received and scholarships. But also they explained that even as I'm a current student at FDU, I can also apply for more scholarships with the school. I'm like, oh, I didn't think that was possible. I thought once I'm in a school, whatever money they gave me in the beginning, that was it. So I've really been able to take advantage of that. In addition to their great nursing program, they offer scholarships for students who are already enrolled. So I've already been privileged to receive about 2 or 3 scholarships from FDU. So starting freshman year, I actually received a scholarship each year, freshman, sophomore, and now as a junior. And that has really helped tremendously in paying for school. And it's also giving me extra funds to pursue things such as study abroad, which I'm looking forward to.
Okay, so where are you going abroad? When will you be doing that?
Hopefully in January. Our school has another campus in England, which is a great thing. They really try to promote is their global learning. So I'll be spending hopefully a week over there in England on that FDU campus and also exploring a lot of the sites here.
Okay. And I think there's a museum for Florence Nightingale somewhere in London, I believe.
Yes, there is.
Okay, so you kind
Okay.
of that would be awesome. So you kind of mentioned before talking about the scholarships in college, and my next question was going to be, let's talk about your experience in school. How did you in college? How have you applied? Have you continued applying for scholarships outside of Fairleigh Dickinson's offerings?
Yes, that's also, I take advantage because during the semester things are very hectic, so they do send us emails, which is very helpful, reminders that, oh, we're offering this scholarship. Here's a deadline. Here's the eligibility requirements. So that's great that I can put on my calendar and make sure I apply. But in addition to that, I also research other scholarships. And now that I am a nursing major, there's a lot of scholarships offered just for nursing majors nationally and even through New Jersey. So again, I take the opportunities with my time off semester, like during the winter session or the summer break or even weekends, to take the time and look at what other scholarships I am eligible for. And similar to that, making sure you have a good resume, working on an essay, and because being in college, there's a lot of other opportunities that we can take advantage of because you have people who can help edit your papers, essays that you're writing. You have career development, helps with resume building. So actually being in college, it's made it a lot easier to get scholarships than when I was in high school. So if you start that foundation early, you know how to apply for these scholarships, you get used to that whole process, it's only going to help you in the long run because it's the same thing. You're going to be proactive to look for jobs in the future or to look for grad school opportunities. So something like that, if you start it early, it's going to really help. And I really benefit from it.
Okay, that's good to know. So are there any things that you could think of in retrospect that you would have done differently? From high school to now, in terms of whether it's the scholarship search or anything?
I would say what I would have done differently is reaching out to more individuals who were already college students. Because when I was really applying, yes, I did have older siblings, but the fact that they were in very different tracks than me, it was kind of harder. But, I didn't know about organizations such as this that are so helpful in guiding high school students in that process. And that is really good to have that support because it was pretty much just me, my mother, and my guidance counselor. They can only do so much. But if you're already part of a community and organization, especially for minorities, that is so helpful. And I really wish I knew about that. But now I'm glad that I can be helpful, at least in some capacity now, as someone who's gone through and has an experience to share and can now help these future college students.
Okay, thank you. And that was going to be my next point. So let's talk about how you've been mentoring other students. Well, how did that come about? You mentioned that in your bio. So how do you do that?
So I've really seen that any family friends I have, since my mother is also a nurse, she has a very long contact list, so fellow nurses who have children or nephews or grandchildren who are also in high school and trying to figure out and navigate this whole transition to college life. She has generously told people, oh, my daughter, she has done very good and she can definitely help your family member in this time. And I'm like, and I'm happy to. But I think that, my knowledge should definitely be used by others. And I really love helping people. And even if people I know locally that we were in high school around the same time, maybe he was 3 years younger than me, kind of seeing what they're trying to do now. And anytime I can offer some advice or even when it comes to selecting colleges, I'm really glad to do so because I know that they need the help. And even if they don't specifically ask, because it could be hard to ask for help, but to be the one to offer it because it does make a difference.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad I had a chance to talk to you. So we're going to end this session. I'm going to transition into talking with our next guest this evening, who is Miss Anith Benjamin, who is a young professional actively involved in the Haitian student community, connecting them with opportunities and resources to network and gain leadership and professional skills. Ms. Benjamin has her bachelor's in interdisciplinary studies at Florida A&M University and her master's in public administration at Barry University. So welcome, Ms. Benjamin. Good to see you, and welcome, and thank you for taking the time to talk to me this evening and to the rest of the NAAHP and College Cafe family on scholarships.
Yeah,
thank you for coming. So let me start by asking you pretty much the same question. Let's talk about your academic journey from high school to college. How did you navigate the scholarship and application pathway?
Okay, so for me, I'm first generation. Technically, everything first generation. Everything. I came to America at 5, so I'll be if I was in high school, I'll be the first one going off to college. So it was hard being, first generation to even have the idea to go to college. But luckily, in my high school, we had a program called Johnson Scholars, and in the 10th grade, they came and the teacher advised us to apply for this program. So as first generation, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how much it could help me in my future. So by applying for this program, I was able to, go off to college. Mind you, I went to college, didn't know what the program exactly was. I went off. Come to find out, I'm a Johnson Scholar, so that means my tuition is paid fully. And when I graduated and attended grad school, my tuition was paid partly because it was a private school. So that was something good to know. And then also the way my high school was during senior year, every month they will have like a green list, and that green list is a list of scholarships, and you pick it up in the front office and then you apply for this different scholarships. So that's what I did as well my senior year in high school. So it's basically just my school provided a lot of resources for me to be able to apply for scholarships. I know some high schools are not like that, but luckily for me, that was the case.
That's really good to know, because that is a struggle for a lot of students. The information is there, but sometimes if you don't go into the guidance counselor's office, they're not looking for you to give you that information. So you were unique, and that was a to be able to help you out.
Right.
And so you transition into college, and tuition is free. I know your parents must have been happy to hear that.
Yes, it was free. I didn't even understand. I promise you, I went to college with just the mindset that I'm just gonna go and it's gonna work out. And fortunately for me, it did work out. And then when I was at FAMU, we did have situations where like Nana mentioned, that we did get scholarships funded from the school, or we did get grants from the school. I know every summer we got a grant and things like that. And I know that's a concern for most students. I know I had peers that didn't go off to college because they felt like they wouldn't be able to afford it. I thought the same way, but I was just a risk taker. I was just like, it's gonna happen, I need to go. But yeah, I have peers that didn't go off to college because they didn't. No, we don't really have information about. We just feel like we just need scholarships. We don't have information about the grants. We don't have information about financial aid like that. So yeah, that's one thing I want to mention, that schools do give out school scholarships or grants to students who are academically succeeding in the school, or just if they have the funding available.
Right. So how did you decide to pick your major?
When it came to my major for undergrad. I was struggling. So that's why I decided to do interdisciplinary studies, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. When I graduated in 2016, I got to work at it's a nonprofit organization that I work at now. The Early Learning Coalition of Palm Beach County, we provide resources to low-income families. We provide, different opportunities for parents. And when I was in that agency for working and things like that, I loved it. And that's when I decided to get my master's in public administration. For me in undergrad, it was kind of a struggle. I changed my major like 3 times, but there's hope. Even if you're struggling in undergrad, obviously there's hope, and it's not too late to change your career path or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I've been working at the Early Learning Coalition since after I graduated. So I was like 22, and I'm 28 now. well, I'm not 28 yet. I'm 27, turning 28, but it's been a while. So obviously I love what I do. So yeah.
Okay. So looking back, going from high school to college, anything you would have done differently?
Going from high school to college, there's a lot of things that I would have done differently, and that's why I started my the nonprofit that I have now. When I was in high school, I did not have the resources, the information, the connections, to have a very successful college, career. Even though I made it out, even though I did what I had to do, I did struggle. So to make sure that students like myself don't go through what I went through, I made a nonprofit for that. So I do visit schools. I talk to students. We have workshops specifically. I try to target students who are in ESOL to make sure that, I'm pretty sure a lot of schools, they don't really target the ESOL students and things like that. And I know so many of my peers that are ESOL students that went off to college. They really try to make ESOL students go to, community college and not give them opportunity to say, oh yes, you can go to your 4-year university college. But anyways, I try to go back to, students who come from where I came from and provide them, the steps and things like that. Since I already went through it, I made my mistakes. So yeah, there's a lot of things I would have done differently. But that's why I started Golden V Inc.
Okay. So you mentioned the term ESOL student. Is that a Florida term? Because I'm from New Jersey. So you might want to explain that for us non-Floridians.
Okay, yes. So ESOL is, I guess, for students who do not, I forgot the abbreviation, what it means exactly, but it's students whose English is their secondary language.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so a lot of the times ESOL students do not get the same, students who English is their second language don't get the same opportunities and resources because they're not really pushing going to college to those students. Are really pushing for them to graduate, and that's it. So I really try to have my college readiness workshops targeted to them.
Okay. Yes, and I can relate to that being Haitian as well. Sometimes, families, especially if, you're, like you said, first generation, sometimes the parents are not sure how to guide the children as well. And so the kids who are smart, who could probably get free rides at some of the best universities in the country, don't know how to navigate the process. And yes, they're kind of geared towards certain careers or certain schools as opposed to going to other ones. So thank you for starting Golden V down in Florida.
No problem.
Okay, so I want to thank you for chatting with me. So we're gonna bring back Nana, and we're gonna have a little round table so we can share with the audience and let them know, things that are going on. So what other sources could you suggest to the people in the audience who are listening to us of where else they can look for scholarships? Any other places that you would say are definitely a place that would offer scholarships for school?
I want to mention, like I said, for me, what really helped me was my school. So if you don't see anything, if your teachers don't talk about it, go to the office, go to your guidance counselor, and ask if there's any list of scholarships that they provide. That's the first step. Now, if your school does not provide that, you can also go on websites like FastWeb, and you can make your own account, and they will send you notifications each month for different deadlines that they have. And also, I know a lot of people, the kids, they're on social media, and there are social media accounts that focus on providing, scholarships that are coming up. So example, there's my nonprofit organization. So you can follow us at Golden V Inc. And we provide, we'll post about scholarships that are coming up. There are scholarship that Savvy, scholarship money for students, scholarship secure. Those are some great social media accounts that post scholarships, actively posting scholarships as well. If you're on TikTok, you could search scholarships, and there are people that will post scholarships that are, upcoming as well.
Okay. So Nana, you had mentioned it before about when you started applying as a junior. Did you as well, Anith? Did you start in your junior year of high school?
I started technically my 10th grade year because I was a Johnson Scholar, but actively applying for scholarship, I didn't start until my senior year. But like Nana said, I would advise students to start that summer, because the earlier the better. You'll get a head start and things like that, and you won't be as stressed.
Okay. All right. And so let's pivot also, since you've been to graduate school, and I know yours was partially paid through being a Johnson Scholar. So how did you make up the difference in tuition?
Okay, so one semester I had to go out of pocket, and then some of the semesters I had to take out loans. I know when I was in undergrad, I was really concerned about grad school, because like the same thing with like being a first generation student for going to undergrad, they don't really provide you a lot of information on how to fund your grad school. There's not, there's really not that many scholarships, offered to grad students, and not really that you can't, just apply for financial aid and get grants and things like that. The only thing that you may get offered is scholarships and loans. So I had my scholarship, and sometimes I'll pay out of pocket, and then sometimes I'll take out a loan. But what students don't know is that there are scholarships targeted to grad school students as well that will pay for the full thing. You just have to actively look early on, because like I stated, some people don't know. So just look early, and then you might be able to be funded.
Okay. So you're thinking pretty much looking at the school, like sometimes the schools themselves may have scholarships or fellowships that they'll offer for those particular majors for those students. So any other strategies that you ladies can think of that students may want to put in the back of their mind as far as gating scholarships, any pitfalls they should avoid so that they don't miss out on funding?
I would also like to mention it's very important to also, when you're picking a school, is to really see what type of special program they can offer you aside from your major. Because when I chose Fairleigh Dickinson University, they encouraged me to also apply to a secondary program called the Honors Academy. That program allowed me to receive additional scholarship money and also gave me more opportunities to be involved in campus life and also career advancement that just a regular nursing program didn't offer. So something like that, as was mentioned, the Johnson Scholars, that is also a great way in high school that you can start that and then also be involved on the college level. There was also a specific program called NJ Stars, which I was eligible for. If you're in the top, I think 15% of your high school graduating class, you do have the opportunity to go to community college for free and also have a partial scholarship for the school you transfer into to receive your bachelor's degree. So really researching for anything that will make you stand out in addition to already enrolling in college, but what that school offers you that you can really benefit from. Because again, it's very hard work. You're going to be in school for a year, maybe more, or maybe an accelerated program to receive a master's degree. So you do have to make the best use of your time and to really do the research, because it does count and it's really worth it. And I also wanted to mention just a few scholarship websites that are helpful is unigo.com and also scholarships.com. And with scholarships.com, they have a section just for African American students. They have sections for STEM, healthcare. That is also really good because, again, it narrows down your search if you want to apply for major specific scholarships. And it's also going to be less students for than general scholarship.
Yes, and I also want to say that something that really helped me, I know we mentioned it earlier, but start researching and applying early, and also start making connections with your teachers and your guidance counselor for letter of recommendations. Have someone proofread your essays. Have a second eye, look at your application. I know for me, it was a struggle because, I don't have a parent that could just, read my essay. So I really had to connect with my teachers to do that. And another thing is being that I do provide a scholarship as well through my nonprofit. The committee, we read essays, and we could tell your essay was copied or you used this essay multiple times. So definitely, if you have a template, use a template, but make it specific for that scholarship, because we could tell that this wasn't written for our scholarship.
And I'm doing my other workshops, and I said, yes, sometimes you can reuse the same basic scholarship essay, but again, you have to proofread. You can't start talking about, my experience horseback riding when it's talking about scuba diving. You can't do that. Not going to work, they can tell. Now, a couple other things too that students may not realize in applying for scholarships, sometimes and not always, you have to fill out FAFSA every year. Whether you're an undergrad or a graduate. If you're at a private university that requires the CSS profile, you may have to fill that form out as well. Right. So those basic applications don't stop just because you're applying to scholarships. You still have to continue filling out those forms. That's always going to be a given. So any other strategies you can think of that our audience would need to know?
I don't know if I mentioned it because, we're talking and stuff, but I know a lot of scholarships. Well, the thing with scholarships is people feel like you have to have like a certain GPA, the GPA of a 3.0 and higher. But there are scholarships where it's not based off of GPA. There are scholarships where your GPA could be a 2.0 or a 2.5. So definitely don't feel discouraged because you don't have that specific scholarship to go out and look for scholarships. So yeah, that's what I just wanted to mention. I don't think if I mentioned it before. Definitely try to, there's scholarships for everything. There's scholarships for being left-handed, scholarships for being Black, Haitian. There's not that many scholarships for being Haitian, but there are a few out there. I do have a list of scholarships that are targeted to Haitian students. Whenever you guys, have time towards the end, I could say it, and maybe they could post it as well.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, so we definitely know you got to fill out the applications. And yes, that is another thing that students forget is that, or don't think about, is that you might be the only person applying for a scholarship looking for 3.0s. But if you're the only one who applies and your GPA is a 2.5, you just might be the recipient of it. So you have to take chances, definitely, because otherwise you're not going to get those monies or that information. So we're gonna see if there are any questions from people in the audience right now. Okay, so no questions, but I want to mention also to the seniors who are in the audience, there are some scholarships coming up now, such as the Ron Brown Scholarship. Coca-Cola has a scholarship, and Ron Brown is a $40,000 one, which will give you $10,000 each year if you qualify for it. Coca-Cola, I don't know what the full amount is, but that deadline is due on the 31st. So make sure you get it done before the 31st. Talk to your professors, to your teachers to get the letters of recommendation, or to your guidance counselor who's writing the letter for you. We also have there's also QuestBridge, which is a program that helps students with scholarships as well. So take advantage of all the programs that are out there on the internet or offered at different schools to make sure that you can afford your education. Scholarships are plentiful. There are local scholarships from the churches, sororities, fraternities, women's clubs, Rotary clubs, the companies that your parents work for. You may want to ask your parents just for students. If you don't ask, you're not going to know. Like I said, the churches, the Rotary clubs, you name it, in your neighborhood, there is a scholarship available. And so for some of them, the monies are what we call renewable, which means that it's not just for a high school senior. Once you get into college, the next 2 or 3 years, as long as you maintain that GPA, or there may not be a GPA minimum, but the fact that you finish school that year and submit your grades makes you eligible to get additional funding from that scholarship. So At this time, I don't see any questions in the chat, so I want to take some closing words from our panelists. If you guys have any other information you want to share with our attendees.
I just want to say that on top of scholarships that you can apply for, there are programs that you can apply for to be able to be admitted in the school. For example, one is the Florida State University Care Program, and what that is a program that fully pays for your tuition, and they pay for more things as well. And there are other schools that do things similar. Um, they get admitted during the summertime, and it's like they are part of the care program until they graduate. So there are things like that, and those are things I didn't know in high school. I just knew about it because I, went off to college. That there are programs in the school that you might be interested in that could help you with your tuition.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Nana, you have any other information you want to share with us?
Yes, I also want to encourage everyone when they do apply to scholarships to not give up, because you will not get accepted to everyone you apply for. And I remember when I started, the first 2 scholarships I applied for, I didn't get. And I kind of thought it was the end of the world. But it's not. You have to keep going and keep applying. And you will find out that, certain strategies you use for the first time didn't really work the best for you. Or maybe you should work on fine-tuning your essays. So certain things you're going to learn from that experience, and it's going to help you be a stronger applicant in the future. So just keep up the work and you'll see results. I also want to mention too, certain high schools you did not, guidance counselors don't really provide too many scholarships for you, or you don't know how to go about finding them. One strategy I did use is looking up just scholarships that apply to my county. And then also I was able to find other high schools in my area that had scholarship lists just on their school's website. So even though my school didn't have it, that list that was compiled by the other school district was very helpful to me, because now I saw that other scholarships I could apply for that I didn't know about before.
That's definitely a good piece of advice, because I follow different college planning organizations to get information, and I'll go from the high school and the district where I work and other high schools as well. The more information you have, the better opportunities, the more opportunities to get the funding. And like you said, don't get discouraged. You won't get everything, but you'll get something. And 500 here, 1,000 here, 1,500 there, they add up to help to decrease the amount coming out of your pocket and or decrease the amount in loans that are coming out. For the high school seniors, some things to keep in mind as you once you start getting your acceptances in the spring, sometimes depending on the school, if certain outside scholarship checks are written to you, then that may help your family's out-of-pocket amount to decrease. If certain scholarships are sent to the school after a certain what may happen is they'll decrease the amount in loans that you have to take out, which is great. But then at a certain point, some schools will start to decrease the amount of grants that you get if you're getting too many. So not to discourage you, but it's always good to go out there and get the scholarships, because you want your out-of-pocket to be as low as possible. Okay, so on that note, again, I want to say thank you to Miss Nana and to Miss Anith for coming out and talking to us about scholarships. I hope you all in the audience got some gems and information. There were lots of links in the chat. So for the high school seniors and the juniors, you have a lot of work to keep you busy. We suggest an hour a week, an hour a day. If you have free time, even if you're binge watching a show when you should be doing your schoolwork, you should be on the computer doing scholarship applications. The time is so invaluable. So seniors, get out there, do the applications, get the monies that you need. So when April comes and you have to make a decision, you can tell your parents, look, Mom, I did all these scholarship applications. I have all this money aside for school. And so it'll make the decision a little bit easier for them. But look at all the different programs in your state that are available. It may be beneficial for you to start at a community college and then transfer to a 4-year school. That's okay. It doesn't matter where you start. What matters is that you finish. So take a look at what works best for you. Again, thank you to our panelists, and thank you to our partners, Book It Right Accountancy, Shokagela, our newest partner, Golden V, of course, NAAHP, thank you for this opportunity, and lastly, College Cafe. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you have a great night, a great week, and stay safe. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.